They say you never truly know a person until time, pressure, and truth start to reveal what's underneath their mask. Everyone can act kind when things are easy, but character is exposed in the small moments. The ones people think no one is watching. It's in their tone, their choices, and their reactions when the world isn't applauding. If you really want to know who someone is, you don't need years. You just need to pay attention to 5 subtle, powerful signs, because people always show you who they are if you're quiet enough to notice. The first thing that exposes someone's true character is how they treat those who can't offer them anything in return. You can tell more about a person's soul by the way they speak to a waiter than by how they greet a boss. Because when there's nothing to gain, every act becomes real. The mask of politeness often slips when status, power, or benefit aren't involved. When someone believes a person has no value to them, their true nature steps forward. Stripped of charm, stripped of strategy, stripped of performance. Watch carefully in those small, silent moments when they interact with people who serve them, those below them, or those who have no influence. Do they show patience or irritation? Do they look people in the eyes, or do they look through them as if they're invisible? That's where truth hides. Most people can act nice when they're trying to impress someone. They can hold the door, smile politely, or pretend to care, but that's not kindness. That's calculation. Genuine kindness doesn't depend on the situation. It doesn't ask, "What will I get out of this?" It simply acts out of respect. It's the person who says thank you to the janitor, who smiles at the cashier after a long day, who doesn't raise their voice when something small goes wrong. That's a sign of a person who lives with humility, not ego. Because the ones who only show good manners to those above them are not good people. They're just good actors. When you see someone treat others as if they're beneath them, believe that's who they truly are. Power, money, or recognition only magnify what's already inside. A compassionate heart stays compassionate, whether it's in a palace or a small room. But an arrogant heart turns uglier with every bit of status it gains. It's not the way people treat you that shows their worth. It's the way they treat those they think they'll never need. The moment you see someone disrespect a person who can't defend themselves, that's when you've seen their true reflection. So, if you want to understand who someone really is, don't focus on their words, achievements, or charm. Watch how they treat those who have nothing to give. That's where their heart speaks loudest, and that's where character stops pretending. The second way to see someone's true character is by watching how they behave when no one's watching. Because what a person does in private reveals more about them than what they ever display in public. When there's no applause, no validation, no audience to impress, that's when the truth steps out quietly. Many people wear a different version of themselves for the world. They speak politely, show empathy, act generous, and carry the illusion of goodness. But the real test of integrity begins when there's nothing to gain and no one to judge. What choices do they make when nobody will ever know? Do they still keep their word? Do they still act with honesty when lying would make life easier? These small unseen decisions form the foundation of their character. It's easy to perform when the camera's on. It's easy to play kind when people are watching. But the real measure of a soul is what they do when there's no one to impress. Some people only appear moral because of reputation. They want to be seen as good rather than be good. But the quiet ones, who remain kind even when unseen, are the ones with real strength. They pick up after themselves though no one will thank them. They do what's right even when it goes unnoticed, because their goodness is not decoration, it's discipline. You can tell when a person's morals are genuine by how consistent they are behind closed doors. Some preach loyalty and truth but live in lies the moment no one's around. Some talk about respect but secretly gossip, cheat, or deceive when it benefits them. The mask of virtue always cracks in solitude. True character doesn't change with the presence or absence of people, it remains the same. When you observe someone long enough, Patterns begin to reveal themselves. Do they still live by the same values in the shadows as they claim in the light? Do they keep promises when it's inconvenient? Or do they only do right when someone's watching? Because the one who can stay honest when unseen is rare. That person doesn't need approval to live by integrity. And that's the essence of real character. Doing what's right not for the world's eyes, but for your own conscience. The person who is good in secret is the one you can truly trust in public. The third way to see someone's true character is by observing how they respond to disagreement and criticism. It's easy to look kind and composed when everyone agrees with you, but real character appears the moment someone challenges your ideas, questions your choices, or points out your flaws. That's when the mask slips. Pay attention to how people handle being told no or being corrected. Do they listen and try to understand, or do they react with anger, defensiveness, and ego? A mature person doesn't need to win every argument. They seek clarity instead of control. But the insecure, the arrogant, and the self-centered, they turn disagreement into warfare. They raise their voice, twist words, or walk away to protect their pride. Criticism tests the humility of a person's heart. Some people say they want honesty, but what they really want is validation. The moment someone gives them constructive feedback, they take it as an attack. They'll argue, deflect, or blame others instead of reflecting inward. But those with strong character don't crumble under criticism. They use it to grow. They listen even when it hurts. They value truth more than their ego. They understand that disagreement isn't disrespect, it's a doorway to understanding. That's emotional maturity, when someone can stand in discomfort without losing their grace. You can also see someone's integrity in how they treat others during conflict. Do they insult, belittle, or manipulate just to prove a point? Or do they stay calm and fair, even when frustrated? Anger doesn't define character, but how a person handles anger does. Some lash out to feel powerful, others pause to stay grounded. The difference between the two is emotional control, and emotional control is a reflection of inner strength. When you're around people who can't handle disagreement, you'll always feel like you're walking on eggshells. But when you're around someone who listens, even when they disagree, you'll feel safe to speak your truth. That's how you know you're in the presence of someone real. Because the way a person responds to conflict shows what kind of peace lives inside them. Those who are calm in disagreement are not weak. They're wise enough to know that peace is more valuable than pride. And those who can't handle criticism, they don't need correction, they need self-awareness. The fourth way to see someone's true character is by watching how they act when things don't go their way. It's easy to appear composed, kind, and optimistic when life is smooth and everything is falling into place. But the moment things start to break apart, when plans fail, people disappoint them, or circumstances turn against them, that's when their real nature rises to the surface. Some people crumble and curse the world, blaming everyone but themselves. Others stay grounded, patient, and graceful, even in the middle of chaos. The difference between the two is emotional discipline. Anyone can smile when life is comfortable, but true character is revealed in the storm, not in the sunshine. When life says, no, pay attention to what they do next. Do they throw anger at others? Do they complain endlessly? Or do they take a breath and find strength within? The way someone handles loss, rejection, or delay tells you everything about their inner world. Some people turn bitter because they believe the world owes them something. They let frustration poison their words and actions. But those with integrity accept what happens, even when it hurts. They don't hide their pain, but they don't use it to hurt others either. They transform their pain into wisdom. That's what separates character from comfort, the ability to stay kind even when it would be easier to be cruel. You'll notice that when people face failure, some reveal humility while others reveal entitlement. The humble ones learn, adjust, and try again. The entitled ones blame, complain, and quit. Their reactions show whether they live in gratitude or in pride, because Adversity doesn't change people, it exposes who they've been all along. When everything falls apart, the truth of their nature becomes impossible to hide. So, if you really want to understand someone, don't just watch how they celebrate their wins. Watch how they handle disappointment. Do they stay grounded or do they fall apart? Do they grow stronger or grow colder? Character is built in the moments that test your patience, your faith, and your heart. Those who keep their grace in pain, who stay fair in frustration, and who rise after falling, they're the ones whose strength is real. Because anyone can act good in comfort, but only the genuine stay good in struggle. The fifth way to see someone's true character is by observing the consistency between their words and their actions. Talk is easy. Promises are easy. Apologies are easy. But what truly defines a person is whether their behavior matches what they say, not once, but over time. People can say all the right things. They can talk about loyalty, honesty, respect, and love, but those words mean nothing if they don't live by them when it's inconvenient. Real integrity doesn't need to be announced. It shows up quietly in actions that align with values. When someone's words and behavior constantly conflict, it's not confusion, it's revelation. They're showing you that their image matters more to them than their truth. You'll notice that those who are genuine don't need to keep explaining who they are. Their actions speak so consistently that you never have to question their intentions. They don't say one thing and do another. They don't make promises they can't keep. They don't wear masks that change with company. Their honesty remains steady, no matter the situation. On the other hand, people who lack character are like shifting shadows. What they say depends on what they want from you in that moment. Their words sound sweet, but their behavior feels hollow. Over time, their patterns betray them. Because anyone can fake kindness for a day, no one can fake consistency forever. True character is proven in the long run. It's in the friend who keeps showing up when life gets busy. It's in the partner who stays loyal when temptation appears. It's in the person who admits their mistakes instead of covering them with excuses. People with real strength don't need perfection, they need truth. They'd rather be honest and imperfect than dishonest and admired. That's the quiet mark of integrity, choosing what's right over what's easy, even when no one would ever find out. When someone's words and actions align, you feel safe around them. You don't have to overthink their intentions because they've built a foundation of reliability. But when their words are beautiful and their actions are ugly, trust begins to die. The truth is, words can attract attention, but only actions earn respect. So if you want to see someone's real character, stop listening for promises. Start watching patterns. Consistency doesn't lie. It's the purest reflection of who a person truly is. The sixth way to see someone's true character is by noticing how they react to the success and happiness of others. It's easy to appear kind when you're the one winning, but the real test comes when someone else shines. When you see a person you know achieving more, being loved more, or standing in the spotlight, your reaction reveals what lives in your heart. Jealousy, comparison, or quiet resentment. These are signs of insecurity disguised as indifference. But genuine happiness for others, genuine celebration without envy. That's the mark of emotional maturity. Because a strong character doesn't see someone else's success as a threat. It sees it as proof that good things are possible for everyone. Watch how people behave when others get what they want. When their friend gets the job they dreamed of, when someone else receives the recognition they hoped for, or when someone they know starts living the life they once imagined for themselves. Do they smile with their mouth, but not with their eyes? Do they give compliments that sound hollow or half-hearted? Or do they genuinely celebrate and offer support without any bitterness hidden beneath the surface? Envy is quiet, but it's visible in the energy people give off. You can feel it in their silence, in their distance, in their forced laughter. True character is when you can be happy for someone even when your own life isn't perfect. It takes inner strength to clap for others while you're still waiting for your turn. It takes humility to say, "I'm proud of you," even when a part of you feels left behind. Those who can do that have mastered their ego. They've understood that someone else's blessing doesn't take away from their own. But those with fragile hearts turn every win they witness into a personal loss. They start to compete instead of connect, compare instead of celebrate. And that's where their true colors show, in their inability to feel joy for anyone but themselves. So, if you really want to understand a person, don't just see how they treat you in your low moments. See how they treat you when you're succeeding. If their support turns into silence or sarcasm, believe that reaction. Because people who possess true character don't envy your light, they help you shine brighter. Their heart doesn't shrink in the face of someone else's growth. It expands.